Greg Andrick here with another Business Freedom Conversation post. So if you saw my post about the IRS pays a house call, we learned by video of the House Select Committee on Weaponization of the Government that every single agency and department of the government has a counterpart at all the social media outlets, and they are censoring what you see. Might as well be communist Russia. So we know that's happening. Now here's a clip that I have following my introduction here that's going to discuss why Biden is running again and why the Democrat Party has coalesced around him and is okay with it. Now, what this means is the bureaucracy is supposed to be part of the executive branch. But with having billionaires like Mark Zuckerberg, who donated $272 million to collect mail-in ballots in the last election, maybe more, and Michael Bloomberg, who donated between 100 and 200 million to get Florida, try to flip Florida and did flip Orange County, California from Republican to Democrat, you have a very interesting coalition of the unions where most of the government bureaucracy belongs to the SEIU, pays dues and gives tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions, to get their candidate, usually a Democrat, into office. And then you have these billionaires, these mega billionaires, that are not bashful about writing checks for tens, if not hundreds of millions, to get this accomplished. Like George Soros donated more than he's probably around 300 million at this point to get these progressive DAs into the 19 cities where we now have so much crime. Human nature. If you don't prosecute misdemeanors, you wind up with lots and lots of misdemeanors. So this is not a political post. This is for you, the small business owner, to understand what's coming at you. Because these people, the bureaucracy who sides with the progressives, believe that you're the problem. You don't pay people enough money. You don't give them enough benefits. You don't treat them well at work. And why they're coalescing around Biden, look at this minute where these political experts are talking on this program, where the Democrats are happy with a figurehead president. That the bureaucracy is basically has control over the White House, the bureaucracy that they work in, all of the agencies, and they know what to do to execute progressive agendas without legislation. Translation for you: taxation, regulations, censorship, people showing up at your business telling you what to do. It's going to be a difficult environment. So it's something that we need to look at, we need to prepare for, we need to figure out what to do to defend ourselves. Because on one hand, we know that they're now censoring the information. On the other hand, we know, if you saw my post on the real inflation rate, they're flat out lying to us about the inflation rate because it makes their candidate look better. I can guarantee if it was people from the other side of the aisle, they would have more information that you might even call disinformation. So it's a tough spot that those of us that are trying to function and make money, because remember, the bureaucracy thinks it's fine to just print money, which is why we have so much inflation. They don't care. They're always going to get their government paycheck, and they have the mechanism to increase it. And they have the mechanism to get more if they need to. All of these rules and taxation. Look, they had an IRS agent show up at a guy's home and open up a tax return that had been closed for more than a year. That's not rule of law. That's autocracy. So take a look at this discussion about why the Democratic Party is happy to support Joe Biden, because it leaves them behind the scenes totally in control of everything in the government. I believe it's going to become more obvious to everybody that we need to break this conflict of interest where unions and billionaires that give tens and, like I said, hundreds of millions of dollars to get their candidates elected, and then they have to deal with a person that's supposed to be running them. It's the other way around. The unions run the politician because that's how they got into the office with the donations. The billionaires run the politician because that's how they got into office through their huge donations. And where does that leave us? The guy in the middle where they make up, what's the shortfall. And you won't have anywhere near the say of a George Soros or a Michael Bloomberg or a Zuckerberg. We're just the little guys that get crushed. And there'll be fewer and fewer of us as they continue to run the U.S. economy into the ground with their current policies. So take a look at this. I think you'll find it both interesting and alarming, and it's important to get into place to know that this is coming at you, particularly since they're going to have those 87,000 more IRS agents. There's 80,000 people work for the IRS now. It's a 109% increase in headcount, and they're after you. So take a look at this. Let me know what you think. I have links and things in the post. Till the next time, this is Greg Andrup with the Business Freedom Conversation.
What do you think about the Democrats themselves and their willingness to challenge Biden if Biden does this? I mean, you have a couple of cranks running, and they're not serious. But maybe Newsom, governor of California, somebody else gets in.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult to suppress presidential ambition, and Joe Biden could have some problems out there. So I think that people like Gavin Newsom or J.B. Pritzker may emerge. But I want to make one other point about the Democrats, because they are coalescing around Joe Biden. I think the Democrats in Washington, especially the progressives, have figured out that they can function very well with a figurehead presidency. They control the bureaucracies, they control the White House, they control the agencies, and all of those agencies, like this Julie Su is about to be nominated as Labor Secretary, they know what they have to do to execute progressive policies outside the legislative process. So whether it is Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, I think the professional Democrats are happy to have just a president who functions. Not good for the country. Wouldn't be good for foreign policy. But I think that's one reason the Democrats are not objecting to Biden's.
It's very dangerous for foreign policy because on foreign policy you have to have a president who deals with Xi Jinping, deals with Putin. You've got to deal one-on-one because you're the ultimate decision maker. So I think that's going to be front and center too as an issue.